And for further analysis, we're joined from Cairo by Al-Ahram managing editor Mohammed Izzeddin. Welcome, sir, to Q News, and it's a pleasure to have you with us on this very special day. Sir, to what extent does the high participation of women and youth indicate changes in voter engagement and political culture in Egypt?
Hello, and thank you for having me here on Q News. Of course, this actually shows how people are politically aware now, and that they are very optimistic after President El Sisi's have remarks to those monitoring the elections to look through all the appeals and for the districts results to show what the voters really wanted. And so this also means that there are a large number of districts where competition is getting very high, either in the districts that are having a rerun or in the districts where voting is still in progress because the candidates didn't get above 50%. And so things are going very positive, and some of the polling stations have queues, especially in the larger cities. There are people queuing to cast their votes, and they are waiting until 9 p.m. And what happened with President Sisi here when he later the elections, this actually reformed the democratic path and elections in Egypt. And there is a huge transformation in how the voters are practicing their constitutional right, especially after they have seen all the appeals being, looked through thoroughly, and they can actually choose who to represent them. And also in some districts, there was a very high turnout in polling stations that had individual candidates or candidates from parties.
By the organization of joint committees, strict security measures, and judicial oversight impact the overall credibility and stability of Egypt's electoral process.
Since the early morning, we've seen the Ministry of Internal Affairs and also all the officials and all the ministries and institutions and organizations involved. They have prevented any violations and any candidate trying to influence any of the voters, and we've seen them actually detect a few incidents where the candidates were trying to campaign outside of the polling stations or influence the voters' opinion. And so this shows that Egypt is very keen and is making sure that the candidates who win will actually be the one that the voters have chosen, and shows that that Egypt is very neutral here. And also all the presidential remarks when President Sisi said that the voters need to be represented by with full clarity and integrity, and that we cannot have any candidate or anyone influencing the voters.
True, sir, which led to the president repeating these voting in certain constituencies. How do re-voting processes in certain constituencies affect public trust in the integrity and transparency of Egypt's 2025 parliamentary elections, sir?
Of course, they were very hopeful and very positive, and we had some kind of celebrations from the candidates and their families in some districts, especially in those districts and constituencies where there was a rerun, because here they are sure that the results will be very fair and will be handled with integrity and full transparency. They have seen in the first phase some violations happening or people being influenced, and so here after the rules of NEA and their decision to rerun the election. So people are very hopeful here, and there is a high turnout rate. We've seen this over the past days.
Sir, in what ways do electoral reforms, if any, influence voter confidence and participation rates in recent Egyptian elections?
I think that the president's statement and remarks and the judicial institutions, having real-time response, and then also having a high level of awareness with the voters and even the candidates. And so, of course, this will make things way better than they were in the first phase. And so, of course, this will actually influence and affect the actual representation and who will be chosen and wins here, and will make sure that everyone got the number of votes that they deserve.
Got your point. That was Al-Ahram managing editor Mohammed Izzeddin from Cairo. Thank you very much for joining us on Q News.